Here we go. And we are not live, but close enough. Close enough. Close enough. No edits, so we're live enough. This is, I believe, episode 4, but I'm not keeping track, to be honest with you. At this point, we're just running it. So yesterday was Thanksgiving, and I have to say, I almost did not go. Thanksgiving was being held at my sister's house like it is every year. And there were some people there that I haven't seen in literally 20 years, maybe even more. So part of me did not want to go. It's not that I'm not a big fan of these people. It's just I'm not a big fan of these people. Um, and that's not saying my immediate family, because I love my immediate family. It's just there were some outsiders there that I just didn't like. I just didn't want to see. But what happened was I ended up waking up late. I woke up at 1 o'clock, and my family was already here. They were already here picking up my mom, and they didn't wake me up or anything beforehand. So I was not ready. So at first I wasn't going to go. And then what happened was my mom actually left her cell phone here, which gave an excuse for my nephew to come back. And during that time, they were talking me into going, and I was talking myself into going because that would have been not nice. So I chalked it up. I went over there, and I had a great time. And I have to say, and I said this before, I said this the last podcast, but, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough time, but there is so much to be thankful for. And I tend to forget about that, and I think a lot of people tend to forget that. The little things. And a lot of that, it's easier for me to, I guess, remember just because I was locked up for 7 years. So the littlest things make me grateful, like going and taking a shower without a bunch of dudes in, the shower, or sitting on a toilet and taking a dump with an actual toilet seat on it. Just breathing fresh air, being able to come on here and do this, being able to take care of my mother, being able to, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. But I'm grateful on a daily basis. And I try to run that list over and over again in my head every morning to get myself out of the pity bullshit state of mind that I tend to still wake up in on certain days. I'm grateful for the job I have. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee right here with Dunkin' Donuts creamer. I am grateful for this cannabis that I'm smoking on right now, first thing in the morning, wake and bake. I didn't know if I had to work today. So I woke up early and texted my boss, and he's like, nah, you got the weekend off, which is a great thing because I get to work on the podcast, I get to work on content all weekend, and I get to talk to you guys. So that's awesome. So as far as that, there was no arguments this Thanksgiving. Everything was pretty calm. Everything was, just relaxed, which is a really good thing because we had two very opposing political views at the dinner table. And at one point, my sister even came up to me and she said, hey, I'm going to not put so much vodka in your mom's drink, our mom's drink, because I don't want her to start with the political shit. See, my sister is full-on Democrat. Does not even know that, CNN and NBC are propaganda stations at this point. And my mom is full-on the other way, along with, I think, the majority of the family. Common sense. And there's a reason for that I'll get into. But nobody's politics. And at the end, when it was brought up, it was just kind of ignored. And I'm glad, because it would have caused something that shouldn't have happened on Thanksgiving. But all in all, we got to spend time with each other. I hung out a lot with my nephew, 27-year-old nephew, and me and him have a lot in common. We're both in sales, um, both like cannabis, and we're both nuts. But yeah, no, he's awesome, and that was that. Turned out to be an awesome Thanksgiving, and thank God I went. Thank God I went, because today and yesterday I would have been feeling like such a piece of shit if I didn't, you know. And when I got there, my nephew blessed me with a vape part. What kind do I have? Not sure, but it's an indica, and it's actually from the dispensary. I believe it's from Truly. Do not mark my words on that. But I gotta say, I stopped vaping for the most part, especially cigarettes, since all that happened with, my lungs and everything like that. But you can definitely tell the difference from a vape from the dispensary versus buying a vape outside the dispensary. And obviously it depends on who you're getting it from. But it is the safer way to go, I have to say. And it is good. Really, 1, 2 hits, and I was ready for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm blocking out all the BS that I didn't want going through my mind. Yes. So, yeah, we had a very weird mix at the table yesterday. Everything from my nephew, who turned into my niece, to, an 88-year-old, my 88-year-old, 88, I'm probably putting 5 years on her age, but everyone is getting old. I'll leave it at that. Very weird mixed, all different types of people with different ideologies and different opinions, and we all had a great time. So back to reality. It is Friday, and like I said, no work today, but I am going to put some work in myself, because my job is all commission, straight commission. So whatever I don't sell, I don't get paid off of. Therefore, I look at it as my business, and I turned it into my business. Speaking of that, taxes are coming up, so I'm going to have to get an accountant, a creative accountant. If anyone is listening in the South Florida area, definitely need an accountant. And yeah, that's going to interfere with my insurance, depending on what I claim and what I make. And that's one thing about the U.S. that gets to me, man. I'm not a straight Democrat or a straight Republican. I think the labels are bullshit. I believe policy is on both sides. And one thing I do believe is, in a developed country like the USA, everyone should have health care. When I did go to the hospital that night, I was there for 5 hours, and my bill was $31,000. Now, thank God I have insurance. So I still have to pay $1,200 towards that, but $31,000 for 5 hours. It's the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical debt. So yes, I do believe everyone should have health care. I do believe that, and call me a socialist, call me what you want, but I think there's enough money in the pot where we can have health care without paying a shitload of a shitload of taxes. Sorry, y'all, it's early in the morning. Yeah, one thing I would do, and I announced this during a live, I'm going to go ahead and announce it here again. I will be running for president in 2028. First name Tragic, last name America. And that is the first thing I'm going to do. Executive order. Everyone's going to get free health care. Everyone. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, but then we're going to pay a lot more in taxes and this and that. No, we're not. We're actually going to abolish federal taxes. And what we're going to do as far as getting the money is, one thing, we're going to federally legalize marijuana. Now, we're going to have a task force for that, task force for the team, kind of like, the Doge team, we're going to have a team of growers. It's all going to be growers, people in the industry, and we're going to make sure the tobacco company and the pharmaceutical company does not get their hands on it. And we're going to put out the best medicine in the world. We're going to tax it, and we're going to use that for free healthcare. and some other things. But, that's one of my main policies right now. Speaking of that, a lot of people don't get the depth, I don't think, of Trump's presidency. We were under the illusion, and this is, in my opinion, of democracy for a long time. And, when both sides were saying they were fighting for democracy during this election, they were not lying. But it was two types of democracy. One of it was a democracy of the people, what people want, and one of them was a democracy of the corporations and what they wanted. And the military-industrial complex, pharmaceutical company, you name it. But hey, the democracy of the people won, and that's a great thing. But we don't really know where that's going to take us. And let me tell you what I mean by saying that. There were a lot of international orders put in place over the years, since, I'd say, before the Bushes, probably. Around the Bushes, though, is where it really picked up. And a lot of international orders that Trump is about to completely turn on its head. Now, don't get me wrong, these orders needed to be turned on its head. We don't need a global government. We don't need, a one world digital currency. We don't need, and if you guys think I'm conspiracy theorist about this, all you have to do is go to the World Economic Forum website and look at the biggest donors in the Democratic Party, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the Democratic Party ran off of two things this election, and that's about it. It was so pro-life that it was almost, I would say, on the order of pro-death, the way that they pushed abortion so much. Now, again, I think it's up to the woman to a certain extent, and I am pro-choice. And did they push abortion in this election? And they ran off abortion and the hate for Trump. And it became obvious because every time they put a case out on him, and he would get found guilty, his numbers would just go up. Because people saw it was political warfare, basically. And then, 2.5 assassination attempts that they tried to sweep under the rug. They still never got into those people's phones. There's a lot to that, a lot to all that. And it did not end yet. I said this last podcast, Trump, out of the people he, nominated for his team so far, 12 of them have gotten them and their family threatened. They've gotten bomb threats. They've gotten swatted, whatever you think. 12 out of I think 12 or 13 so far have been threatened. And not my wording, but the way it was worded on, I don't even like to call it the news anymore, but mainstream media, the way it was worded was organized, that they were organized threats. So I don't know what that means. You can take that where you want to take it, but it is a dangerous time, and you got to look at why. You got Donald Trump putting a team together with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy called DOGE, what is the Department of Government Efficiency. People are scared about their jobs. They're scared about the Epstein list coming out. They're scared about the JFK files coming out. They're scared of truth. And is that a good thing to be scared of truth? No. But there was so much and is so much bullshit that's going on within the bureaucracies. And now you got Elon Musk coming in with the sink like he did in Twitter. And he's saying he can cut $2 trillion off of the budget. So you could see why you got some people scared. You could see why there possibly might be some people that want this team dead. You probably got everything from jobs to deals to shit that happened that they do not want out there. I don't know about how many people know that there's 300,000 kids that went missing from the border this year. Crazy. That's something that's not talked about very much. The 300,000 kids that went missing from the border, the over 100,000 people that died from fentanyl overdoses that came through the border from China. So yeah, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. Um, God willing, they'll be able to do it, but it's something like no administration has ever done before. And it's pretty much turning Washington and turning all of these international orders on its head. And we don't know where that's going to take us. That could take us somewhere great, or that could take us somewhere not so great, and that's what a lot of people don't get. I think looking into it, it took me a long time to really understand that and to see, why it could be a problem. But it could be a problem for sure. It could be a problem. 15 minutes in already to the podcast, and I'm rambling shit again. I'm excited. I'm excited because I have some good guests planned, and we're gonna stick to the cannabis undertone, but we're also gonna talk about some serious stuff this year. And my friend Bunny is gonna come on, and we're gonna talk about social media, the suicide rates going up, mental health, and speaking of social media, Australia became the first country to lower the social media age to 16. I'm not so sure how I feel about that yet. On the surface, it looks great. It looks great because I can imagine what kids go through in high school right now with social media. And kids can be cruel. Girls can be cruel. So I can imagine the shit that they have to go through when girls get into a fight with another girl and then they're just posting stuff on social media and making accounts and, you know, all of that. And it's caused a lot of problems with kids, but is that solving the problem? I don't know. It's definitely a start, I think. Elon Musk says it's a backdoor for censorship, basically. I'm not sure. I haven't read into it that much yet, to be honest with you, but it seems right. It seems right. 16, you know. Um, Social media could fuck you up. It can. It can at any age. I could see people my age that's fucked up to the point where, they were probably already fucked up, but, they would harass and, make up names. If I didn't answer them, they'd make up a whole nother email, whole nother name if I blocked them. And it's happened to me where people have showed up at my job when I worked at the vape shop to talk to me about content that I made. Thank God they weren't maniacs, but they didn't agree with some of the people I was interviewing. And that could have went bad. That was crazy. But yeah, I do think so far, before I research more into it, it seems to be a good idea. And I don't know, see, implementing that in America, it's just the fact is we take things too far. So I don't know if it's ready to be implemented in the States yet. That bill has to be looked at very carefully if it is. Very carefully, because we also have a reputation of throwing a lot of pork in the bill. And when I say pork in the bill, we'll say it's for, social media, but that'll only be like 10% of the bill, and the rest will be going to, you know, the study of Pakistani ants and how they act on cocaine and shit like that. And I'm not lying, look this shit up. What they have in these bills is nuts. But yeah, the government efficiency team, DOGE, what is it? The Department of Government Efficiency. I am actually very, very happy about that. I think it will do great things. It has the potential to do great things. They're not just going to walk in there and fire everybody. They're going to have a reason to fire the people they're going to fire. And we all know that. And Elon Musk said he's going to put everything out there. Everything is going to be open source, so we get to look at it. It's not like it's going to be done behind the curtain or anything like that. So I do think that is needed. It is needed because we do have a lot of people in Congress and in these other institutions that are maybe not working in the best interest of the country. Hell, that's just my opinion. But all you got to do is look, and you can kind of see that we went in a very weird direction, and we have to kind of swerve the path a little bit more towards the center. But yeah, I do think it's a good idea. We'll see how it's played out. Um, and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. But listen, man, all I want is peace right now. Um, you know, all I want is peace. We do have a ceasefire that happened in Israel, and now I'm hearing this morning that both sides are saying the other side violated the terms of that ceasefire, so I believe they're fighting again. We also have Trump supposedly working overtime right now, trying to stop a third world war, when not we, but President Biden, the Biden administration gave Ukraine the authority to use long-range missiles in Moscow. He gave the authority to Ukraine to do that. And that is a no-no. That is something that Russia has said a long time. If America does that, you're in for it. So after that, what he did was he put out a statement basically changing the rules in the nuclear treaty, and he threatened us, and that's something that they're not playing on the news much either. But hopefully Trump can get us out of that, because nuclear war is a lot more of a threat than climate change right now. And I gotta say it. That's the first thing. Peace. We need to stop these endless wars. And we say we're going in for democracy, or we say we're going into, and come on, guys. When was the last time we gave a F about another country's democracy? Look at Iraq. We went in there saying, yeah, they have weapons of mass destruction and this and that. When we got bombed from supposedly Saudi Arabian hijackers on 9/11, it was always a question to me, even being as young as I was back then, what could we do in going to Iraq? But of course, there were no weapons of mass destruction there, and all that did was cause havoc. 1 million Iraqis dead, civilians, and it also messed up a lot of people. A lot of people that I know that I grew up with ended up going to that war and committing suicide afterwards. It was a worthless war, just like Vietnam, you know, just like many of the wars before. And I'm not counting World War II or World War One. The military-industrial complex just grew into this big, massive giant that needs to be tamed. And that's the thing about a billionaire getting into office. He doesn't need money. He's not beholden to the military-industrial complex, behemoth. So he actually can make the change and make the peace. And that's what we need. A lot of people saying, oh, a billionaire going into office, a billionaire going into office. What about the people that go into office and become billionaires afterwards, or at least multimillionaires? Where do you think that money comes from? It comes from the lobbyists, the pharmaceutical companies. It comes from the military-industrial complex. It's a favor for a favor type thing. And enough is enough. We do not need to be king of the world when it comes to how other people are running their countries. Okay. Now there are certain circumstances where we do need to, step in, but thankfully that has not happened really in a very long time. Yeah, we care more about minerals. We care more about poppy, gasoline, money. I think it does have to do with population control to an extent. I do. But yeah, the wars need to stop. And I don't think there will ever be a time where there will be no war. That's very, very unlikely. But we can at least show an example, or be an example to the rest of the world. Why can't we just have peace? I mean, there was a line Elon Musk said a while ago, and it stuck with me, and he was talking about war. And he said, war is a bunch of young people going to fight for what a bunch of old people believe in. You know what I say? Put them in a cage. These leaders in a cage and let them fight it out to the death. But you don't need to get the kids involved. You don't. Especially when it's not, there's really no need. There's no need for it. I mean, now we're at the point where I think 70% of the youth would not even qualify for the military. And that's because of medicines that they're on, because of them being overweight, a variety of reasons. And I think another good percentage probably would not go, you know. And yeah, so let's stop talking about that for now. The last podcast I did, I don't know if it's still getting, what's the word, approved, but it actually never went on Spotify. Maybe I was talking too much shit. I don't know. But it didn't end up going on Spotify. Like I said, it might just be getting approved. I don't know. So we'll see. And let's check the crypto markets today. Let's see where we're at. Okay. So Bitcoin is at $98,476.31. Oof. Man, I'm telling you. Wish I would have had some money there when it was just starting, but I would have sold it already. And let's see what Dogecoin is at. Doge is at 42 cents. That's great. The crypto markets are going up. Ethereum is at $3,630.37. So the crypto markets are stable right now. They're going up. Stocks are doing great. And we will see. We will see. I'm glad it's going to be a long weekend this weekend, guys. I'm glad. I am glad. We're going to where? I'm talking about myself in the third person now, but we're going to work on the podcast. We're also thinking about getting a PlayStation 5, man. All my homeboys are on PlayStation. My nephew's on it. It's Black Friday. And for all you listening to this that are not in America, Black Friday is a day where it's a famous shopping day where everything is like all the prices are cut down and this and that. And PlayStation 5 right now is down from $500 to, last I looked, it was $374, $350. So I'm probably going to splurge on myself this Thanksgiving and get a PlayStation 4. PlayStation 5. Get myself a couple games. I mean, I haven't played since, I'm going to age myself here, but PlayStation 2. And I would play Tony Hawk on there and do all the cheat codes and all that. But I'm thinking about getting PlayStation 5 and getting Grand Theft Auto 5 and also getting a racing game, maybe Need for Speed, something like that. I'm not going to get into all the Fortnite or anything like that, at least yet. I haven't played in a while, so it's going to take some getting used to, but it seems to be a good outlet just to get out of my head, just to focus and, because I have a stressful job, sales is stressful, especially when you're not making a salary and, I do good, thankfully, but besides my job, my mind is always racing. I guys also know what I do here. It's just my mind is always racing. It's hard for me to actually relax. By the time I relax, I pass out on my bed. My mind is running. So I think it would probably be a good investment. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that right now. I'm going to go ahead and relax today, make some content, put out some clips. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I had someone send me a message that they were not able to be with their family and they had a horrible holiday and they were very down about it. And I'm sorry, very sorry about that. The only thing I could say is let's go back to gratitude and still think of the things that you are grateful for, because I could think of things in your life that that I would be grateful for. Look at where you were last year and look at where you are now. Okay? That alone. That's the thing, I don't have patience. It's taking me a long, long time to learn patience. But and that's probably the hardest lesson for me to learn. But yeah, think about how far you've come and think about where you will be next year. And my prayers are with you, and it will all work out. It will. I truly, truly believe that. You're a talented, talented human being. And you're special. Special. And I mean that. So I am sorry that you had to go through that this year. And I wish you the best next year. I wish you the best this whole year. And just try to take it one day at a time. And whatever I tell you, I'm telling myself. Take it one day at a time. Think about the things that you're grateful for daily, and it will get better. It will get better. So let me shut up. I don't have much else to ramble on about this morning. I just wanted to about another podcast, and thank you all for listening to it. As I learn this new app, as I get guests together, it's going to get better. I promise you that. I'm thinking about a host, but I don't know. I had a host for a while. She was awesome. But I like just rambling on about shit sometimes, It's just fun for me. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see where it takes us. The next podcast, I am going to try to get Bunny on, and we're going to talk about mental health. We're all nuts. But yeah, I love you guys. Have an awesome, awesome weekend. For those of you who have to work, make the best of it. And I will see you very, very soon. Y'all follow me on all platforms. It's not hard. Tragic America on X, on Twitter. X is Twitter now. You jackass. On X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Rumble, on YouTube. I also have the Tragic America blog. I have a Reddit forum that I started. So I'm everywhere on the internet. And remember, you heard it here first. Tragic America, President of the United States, 2028, and we are going to make America sexy again. So